I worked in the laundry, various spots, but the one I remember most was the laundry. And it was segregated. Blacks worked in the back on the hothead presses. We weren't allowed to work on the dryers, the washers, or the wringers up front. Those were white jobs. I tried to get up there, and of course I got the big no. And part of this was due to what I later learned was convict straw bosses, or convict bosses. Every job every workplace was controlled by convict bosses. The prison would assign somebody to a job, but they had to go through the convict bosses whether they'd accept them or not. And a lot of the convict bosses were racist and said no, they could not work in certain areas. Even in the kitchen, you could not work on the grills or, in the butcher shop if you were black, because they were controlled by white convict bosses. It got to be where we had black convict bosses, but only in black areas. So I was not a convict boss in the back part, but I was trying to change things. And when I talked to these, staff who was running it, supposedly running it, and he told me no, we would not allow black prisoners to work up front. It just caused problems. I was standing by what they call a ringer, where they wring clothes out. It's just a big kind of centrifugal thing. And the lid was open. I pushed him. It was empty. And he went in, and I hit the switch, and it came down. When it comes down, it automatically starts up. And this was during lunch break. And so I was walking out. I'd go to lunch. I'd go to the yard. I didn't go to lunch in prison. I went to the yard. So as I was walking down the ramp, and I started to go, and I said, no, this is crazy. So I went back in there and shut it off and raised the lid. And it just started to wind up. So he's getting up, and he was scared.